Well, you saw that recent video where I happened to have the brand new Whelen inner edge, and now Chris is going to take it apart. It's Monday, and that's what we like to do here on a Monday at SIRENNET Television. The model in question that he will be disassembling is the iX34UFZ. Chris, it's all yours.
Thanks, Stuart. I have here Whelen's XLP interior light bar. It's their new ultra low profile unit, and this one that I have here is the actual iX34UFZ. It's a two-piece unit designed for the new Ford Explorer, and they also have it for the police interceptor utility. So hopefully Whelen doesn't send somebody after me here from the Northwest or from the factory for giving you folks an inside view into the new XLP inner edges and what's inside the shrouds here. So to start things off, I'm gonna go ahead, remove a couple Torx bolts, pair on the back, pair on the bottom here, and I'm just gonna do it from the one side of the unit. The driver's side portion and the passenger side portion, electronically and mount-wise, are gonna be the same, with the exception of the control board here on the driver's side. And honestly, the driver's side with the board is the more exciting and more detailed in to open up for you. I'm gonna go ahead, remove the two Torx head screws on the back here. And also the pair from the bottom. I'll go ahead, pinch this together here so I can get this other screw out. So with the mount Torx screws removed, I can separate the shroud. As you can see here, it's a one-piece polycarbonate shell with a front window guard to help with reflection as well as tapping against the glass. Inside, I'll show you from the bottom here first, you can see that there's a total of 6 diode assemblies. These ones here, the 5, are the warning units. The inside here is the takedown. If we can have the camera zoom in a little bit here, you can see that there's actually a difference in the optics between the takedown as well as the warning modules here. See here, each unit has its own connection to a control harness. And the control harness in turn is run by the main I/O board here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 small Torx screws that hold the I/O assembly in place here. And if you're curious, I/O stands for Internal Operating Board. Make sure to thread your screws all the way out before trying to remove. I'll flip this over here. Try to free up my harnesses a little bit here so I can gain access to the bottom of the board here. The harnesses themselves are actually on a series of quick connects. So with a little bit of a wiggle here, I can go ahead, remove the harness connections from the main I/O board. And you can see they are in here nice and snugly. That way when it's mounted in your car, you don't have to worry about anything coming disconnected. So here is what makes your inner edge work. Control board, series of processors, and again, 3 quick connect points for the harnesses. Basically how that goes, before I take this and set it to the side, the pronging here is your input for your harness, so your power, your ground, your different trigger wire functions. These units here control the driver and the passenger side. You can see the harnesses here. So if I pull this harness away here, you can see that now the driver's side has completely been freed from the unit. So if you ever need to change colors, take it out of your vehicle, just do some maintenance, cleaning, or servicing, it's easy to remove and disconnect from its main I/O board. So the modules inside here are held onto a top mount portion with 2 small screws. I'm going to go ahead and remove the takedown portion here, just the takedown. The other units are similar in how they're mounted as well as their quick connects for their wiring. You can see on the bottom here, quick connect harnesses, which I've pulled a couple out. They slide right back into place, pull right back out of place. So again, should you need to remove the module, pull the harness out, and then remove the 2 small Phillips head screws. And Whelen actually designs the units so that you can open them, remove the modules, and change them. So if you wanted to change colors or even your takedown position in your inner edge, you can do so pretty easily. So if you want to mix and match red and blue colors, whites, reds, greens, just even moving your takedown, like I mentioned, from the inside portion here, maybe over to the side, that way you gain a little bit more illumination, kind of off to the 45-degree angle of the car. It's an easy process to do. So if we can have the camera zoom in, give you a close-up look at one of the actual freehand diode assemblies here. So again, this is the takedown. Quick connect harness here. Aluminum mount that it's affixed to, which actually acts as a micro heat sink. Optic reflector over the front here. Again, this is deep dished, so you have a nice intense directional takedown view. And the spreader optics in your warning modules help to spread it out to the left and the right. So with that removed there, and a bit of an overview as to the modules, how they mount, how they remove them, how they connect to the harness, I'm going to go ahead, put this back in, reconnect the I/O board, and put the unit back together here. So I'll realign my takedown and its holes for its mount. Again, I'll retighten the 2 mount screws. On the back of the unit, connect the harness. Also just going to make sure the other modules are in here nice and snugly and the harnesses are nice and tight as well. I'll take my driver's side unit, the harness, reinsert it into its slide assembly hole there, and take my I/O board assembly, reconnect the harnesses, so I have the driver's side, passenger side, and finally here, my main power and trigger wire input harness. And go ahead, slide the harnesses through their entry point into the top of the shroud there. Take my 2 nice and small Torx screws. And just because they're so nice and small, I'm going to start off and put them in here, thread them a little by hand just to make life a little easier. So now that I have the small Torx screws in here by hand, I'll go ahead, take the screwdriver, and snug them down. And it helps if you take and pinch the I/O board against the shroud itself. That way, it's nice and flush. So again, I/O board remounted. Harnesses back to their connection points. Module remounted as well. Again, all the harnesses connected inside here. So now I'm going to go ahead, take my bottom portion of the shroud and reaffix it. So my wiring harness here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it goes through the notch in the shroud. Then go ahead, line it up with its appropriate mount holes. Again, with the screws being the small size that they are, it may take just a quick moment to get everything lined up so you can get your thread started. So go ahead and tighten these down to reaffix the shroud. Again, this will be from the back portion. And there also, again, is another 2 mounts on the bottom here. With the final screw tightened down, you now see that the unit's been reassembled. Harness entry point here as appropriate, and then also when it'll be mounted in the vehicle, again, this notch here will allow the harness to sit nice and flush so it doesn't press against the top of the headliner, causing the unit to hang down somewhat. So after doing a disassembly like I've done here, I always like to turn it on, make sure everything's working. Now the new iX34 UFC, again for the Ford Explorer, this one here is the warning unit with the takedowns. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of the features that it offers here. It's got a steady burnability for folks in California, built-in warning mode for traffic safety, flashing takedowns, as well as steady burn takedowns. Also, the unit offers a variety of warning patterns that are controlled through the unit's scan lock trigger wire. So when you have it on and flashing, you'll take your trigger wire, momentarily tap it to a positive source, and that will change the pattern. It does have 40 different ones to choose from, so for any end user in any industry, there'll be something that'll work great for you. I'm Chris with SIRENNET Television. Thanks for spending some time with me here while I give you an overview and a bit of an inside demonstration that, again, hopefully Whelen doesn't come after me for, on the new XLP interior ultra low profile Whelen light bars. Back to you, Stuart.
Well, thanks, Chris. We really appreciate you disassembling that. Hopefully the gang at Whelen had a little bit of fun watching it too. I'm Stuart, and again, thanks for watching SIRENNET Television.